Hey everyone, it's Tyler here from Get Off Your A, and I am not just wearing this pink shirt because it brings out my eyes. I am wearing it because today is our Valentine's Day episode. Woo! It's a Valentine's Day. People seem to have a lot of mixed feelings about this holiday. I myself currently am a single man on this holiday, but you know what? It's not a big deal. Valentine's Day is not just for couples. Valentine's Day is about celebrating love. And all of you out there, someone loves you. I guarantee it. Even if it's your mom, you have loved ones. So I'm going to take the time to make homemade Valentines for all of my loved ones out there who I care very much about, and I want them to let them know that I am thinking about them. So rather than spending your Valentine's Day like this, oh, don't wanna be anymore. You can spend your Valentine's Day baking edible Valentines to impress all of your friends. This recipe is so easy. Swear to God, if you mess it up, you need to get your head checked. So, we're going to start right away. First thing you need is some butter. We've got Gloria here. Good old gal. She's going to be my Valentine. Sad. Yeah, if you don't have a stand mixer, you can just use one of those handheld electric mixers. First thing you need is butter. It's the way to my heart. 1.5 cups or 3 sticks. Un, deux, trois. French is the language of love. And then, in addition to that 1.5 cups of sugar, or of butter, you need 1 cup of sugar. So put that in. Excellent. And you're just going to cream these together. That basically means beat them up until they're nice and smooth. So we'll be back. Okay, so we've let that go for a little bit, and as you guys can see, it's starting to get nice and creamed up, so kind of solidified. So once it's kind of halfway through your creaming, just because 1 cup of sugar isn't enough, you're going to add another whole cup of sugar. So that's going to be 2 cups of sugar total with that 1.5 cups of butter. So put her down, lock and load, and let her go again. Okay, so that is a lovely, nice, even consistency. So the next thing we're going to add is 4 eggs. Now this might seem like a lot, but this recipe makes a ton of cookies. So you can satisfy all of your lovers in one fell swoop. So that's 2 eggs. If you're a nervous egg cracker, feel free to crack them into a smaller bowl. And then if there's any eggshells or stuff that goes awry, you won't have ruined your whole batch of cookies. But I'm an expert. Not really, I just don't care. So, in addition to those 4 eggs, we're also going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla to give a little flavor. And we're going to mix this all together. Okay, I finally found an angle where I can actually plug this in so you guys can see what's going on behind the scenes. So the next thing you need to do is add the flour, salt, and baking soda. And you do this 1 cup at a time. It's actually 5 cups of flour. Like I said, these make a lot of cookies. So just put your mixer on low and just start pouring that flour in. 1 and 5. And then the last thing you need to add is 2 teaspoons of baking powder, not soda. I lied before. That's 1. 2, and 1 teaspoon of salt. And just let this come together to a nice dough. Okay, so that is really all there is to it. Butter, sugar, vanilla, eggs, baking powder, salt, and flour. You mix it all together, you get this lovely dough. It's nice and soft and beautiful. But before you can work with it, you actually do need to chill it so it makes the rolling out a little easier to do because we're going to cut these into little hearts and decorate them. So just pop that back in the bowl. Just make sure it's all nice and incorporated together. Pop that in the bowl. Cover it with saran wrap and put it in the fridge for minimum an hour, but up to 24 if you want to. So we will be back. Okay, everyone, so our dough has chilled for an hour, so now it's time to start rolling these bad boys out. So it's definitely firmed up quite a lot. So it does make a lot of cookies. So I'm just going to start with a ball about this size to start with. And then while this is rolling out, we'll put the rest of it in the fridge. Okay, and you also want to preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit so we can start cooking these once they're rolled out. So, rolling pin, flour, and dough. It's your pretty standard procedure. So just take some flour, sprinkle it out on the table, and just start rolling. So you really roll to however thick you want them, to each their own. It says about ½ inch to ¼ inch thick. So if you want to get out your old ruler and do some measuring. Now this dough rolls out very nicely. So for those of you who might be a little scared of rolling out dough, this is probably a good recipe for you guys to start out with. And if it rips or anything like that, just put it back together and roll it all over again. So, for those of you who don't have cookie cutters, I actually bought a box of heart chocolates because being Valentine's Day, all the heart cookie cutters were out of stock. And I'm literally just going to use this and press it in. Bam, look at that. You can't see this. You'll see it later, but it's a nice little heart-shaped cookie using a chocolate candy box. So we're going to grab a little baking sheet here and start laying these out and start going into cutting mode. So they're all cut out and nicely put on a baking sheet, little heart shapes there. And I'm now going to put these in the oven for only about 6 to 8 minutes. So that's at that preheated 450 degree oven, 6 to 8 minutes. And then we'll throw in the next batch. And once they're cooked, we have to let them cool before we can ice them and decorate them. Okay, so the cookies are out of the oven. This is just half of the batch of cookies. So this recipe makes a ton of cookies. And as you can see, they kept their shape very nicely. Look at that. That is a beautiful heart. And on the back, you can see they're just lightly brown. So that's kind of what you're looking for to know that they're done. So just a nice little brown, and they keep their shape. So this is where my expertise ends and the madness begins. I suck at decorating. I have the dexterous skills of something that isn't dexterous. That was great. Anyways, it's going to look like a 4-year-old made these. But it came from my heart. So people are gonna like it. So let's get this party started. Ow. Okay, so icing, fun times. We're just making a simple icing glaze. All it is icing sugar and milk. And there aren't really quantities. You just kind of guess and stir until it's the right kind of consistency. So I'm gonna just pour in a bunch. And I've got my milk here. So I'll just pour in a little bit. And I feel like you don't need that much milk. It's like a surprisingly low amount of milk. Well, it's more than that. And then if it's too thick, you add icing sugar. If it's too thin, you add more milk. No, wait. If it's too thick, you add more milk. Too thin, you add more icing sugar. Strike it, reverse it. I'm getting a whisk. Spoons are lame. Whisk! Stupid spoon. No one likes you. Yeah, that looks good. So I'm doing a fairly runny icing. Yeah. Because I know what I'm doing. So I bought some food coloring. I'm going to make these a nice pink color. So I'm just going to use the red. And start with 1 drop and just see where that goes. And there's 1 drop. And let's see what happens. Oh, it's such a pretty pink color. Look at this. You can't see. Look at that. Lovely pink. So, 1 drop. Turns out it's all you need. Just a drop of love. Okay, so, pastry brush. When the next second? Pastry brush. Okay, So now the madness begins. Oh, they're so pretty. So you want to just paint on some icing. And that's really all there is to it for this part. And you want a fairly thick layer. You don't want to see the cookie underneath. Oh, this isn't as hard as I thought. Get it to all the edges. Oh, a nice little pink heart. Well, that doesn't suck. So I'm going to do that with all of them, and then we need to let this dry, and then we're going to do our next layer of icing. Oh my god, 2 layers. It's going to be great. Okay, so I've iced all my cookies, and I've done it in various shades. So right now, I'm going to take some of my darker red icing, and I'm going to try to do something with the lighter cookies. So I just have a plastic bag here, and I'm just going to pour my glaze into the bag. Just into the corner there. This is going to be like a piping bag sort of deal. I don't know how this will work. This is why I'm testing it with a very small amount. And I'm going to take a pair of scissors. And I'm going to cut like the finest of tips in the end of it. Okay. And now I'm going to try slashy lines. That usually looks good and it doesn't seem too hard, so let's see how it goes. Well, that doesn't look bad. Kind of. Oh, it looks awful. I can't decorate. I look like... I don't know even what this looks like. It's beautiful. Oh, it's awful. But I made it. So you're gonna damn well like it. I tried to do it freehand with just a brush. And this is what happened. Oh, you can't see. This is what happened. A murder victim. I'm so sorry, friends. If you're not good at icing, maybe just do 1 layer. I experimented and I did thicker glazes, and they seem to... Oh, that's the wrong way. They seem to turn out nicer shapes. So making a little thick glaze. I'm going to experiment. Maybe they'll look good. But yeah, I'll be back. Well, when I started this project, I had all these visions in my head of what these cookies would look like. They would be beautiful, and people would see them and be like, oh, look at that, it belongs in the Louvre. But unfortunately, that did not turn out. They're finished. Why don't we start with some of the better ones? Oh god. This one is actually kind of good. It's kind of like a modern art. Ooh, cookie. Yeah, that's for like someone really special. It kind of goes downhill. This one is like, yeah, you tried. You tried. Okay. I thought, hey, polka dots. Those are easy. Most of them are good, kind of. It's just getting worse. And then I thought, okay, like, why don't I do a line of polka dots? They'll look like pearls. It kind of does. And then it just got bad. It looks like a bikini. What? Anyways, I had a lot of fun making these. And I think my friends will enjoy eating them. Even though they're, some of them are very misfortunate. I've also kept a bunch of them plain. Just so, you know, it doesn't look like I suck altogether. I'm gonna try one. I have no idea what they taste like. They're good. The icing is very, very sweet, but because it's such a thin layer, it actually balances out pretty nicely. These aren't going to win you, like, cookie baking contests, but the great thing about them is they do hold their shape. And if you are a little better at decorating than I am... Oh, I forgot to show you this one. I tried to do, like, concentric hearts. Yeah. Yeah. But anyways, it's Valentine's Day. There's people out there that love you. So rather than staying home and, you know, imagining you're walking alone out in the rain.
I love him, but every day I'm learning. All my life I've only been.
You can get off your A and make, let's take a good one, and make some of these today for your loved ones. New episodes every Wednesday. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. And if you like what you see, subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next week. Cheers.